How many times have you said to yourself, this year will be different? I'm serious here for a second, okay? This is a serious question. How many Januaries have you sat there and you've been thinking, oh my God, this is the year, this year will be different? And then come June, yes, it's a different year, all right, but you're experiencing the same stress, the same relationship drama, the same money issues, the same excuses. And you know what? That is not you being unlucky. That is you being in a pattern, in a cycle. Welcome back to the Paradise Perspectives podcast, my friend. I am Rizal. I'm your island friend, your host, your confidant. And ooh, today's conversation is spicy because it is going to sting a little for a lot of you. So I'm sorry from before. Let me just in advance apologize because this conversation about to have, some of you are not going to like it, okay? But you know what? I have always said I am here to be your friend and I'm not about to sugarcoat anything. My intention has always been to be honest with you and I'm not about to break that vow to you, okay? All right, so today's conversation, while yes, it made pinch, is also a very important conversation to have because today we are going to talk about how you keep saying it's a different year, yet you keep experiencing the same year over and over and over again. Does this sound familiar? Okay, then this episode is definitely for you. Keep on watching, keep on listening. All right. I want to first of all tell you this. You are not unlucky. You are not bad lucky, like we say in St. Martin here sometimes. You are in a pattern. You're in a cycle. Let's talk about it. So let me paint this scenario for you that is all too how do I say that? What's the word? This scenario that is all too familiar, especially for me because I've been there, done that. And I'm sure you listening or watching this have been there at some point in your life as well. You know, it is Sunday. It is about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. This is usually when anxiety starts creeping in because you're already thinking, oh, I'm dreading tomorrow. Tomorrow is Monday. I need to go back to that effing job that I hate so much. Yet your alarm goes off Monday morning, you drag yourself out of bed, you get in the car, you drive to that job that you hate, you sit through it, and then you get home, you watch some TV, you eat your dinner, you play with the kids. I don't know what you do after work, but you scroll a little bit on TV and on the internet and on social media, and you go to bed, and then the next day, guess what? You're doing it all over again. And so before you know it, another year has passed and you haven't changed a thing. But you know what hasn't changed either? Your resume. You probably haven't touched that resume in 5 freaking years. It's just sitting there. Not even a sentence has been changed. And you definitely haven't been applying to a job that might be a little bit better for you, right? Okay, let's talk. If this scenario is not hitting home, let's talk about money because how many of us don't complain that we don't have enough of it? I definitely do. So if you are complaining constantly about not having enough money, but you are not trying to learn a new skill, or you are not learning about financing, or you are not saving, or you are not, sacrificing certain things that you can sacrifice, like doing your nails every week or your hair, or certain things that you can definitely do without so that you can have a little bit more money for other stuff that are important, then you're not serious, right? You keep repeating the same ish over and over again. And then so before you know it, again, same year in a different, yeah, like digits, you know? It might not say 1999 anymore. Now it's saying 2026 and you're still doing the same thing. Let's talk about the one goal that most women have for the new year that we always say in January is I am committed to losing weight. And then, of course, you start going to the gym. A lot of us, what we do is we get that membership and we're going hardcore against this because, yes, we need to lose that weight. So why not get a membership and go to the gym every single day? And yeah, you can do this for like a week or two. But then before you know it, like a month in, you start getting the excuses, right? It's like, oh, I'm a little sore from last month or last week. I can't do it this week. I'm not going this week. Or you know what? Yesterday was really hard and there's traffic and it's raining, so I don't want to drive to the gym. So before you know it, you have an excuse not to go. And tomorrow you're going to have another. And the day after, you're going to have another again. And what happens is that Not even a month later, guess what? You are grabbing that Dorito and that remote control instead of getting your ass in the car driving to the gym, right? Sounds familiar, I am sure. That's the loop. That is what we call a loop. And the loop usually looks like complaining about the same man for 5 years, yet you keep staying in that relationship, hoping and praying that he will change. The next one is saying that you will leave that job, just like we spoke about it before, but yet you haven't touched your resume and you haven't applied for another job. Or you keep saying that you want peace in your life, yet every time somebody has a hot mele, and for the ones who are not from the Caribbean who don't know what a mele is, it's a good gossip. Then you are first one there because you want a little chaos. You keep inviting chaos and disrespect and all of this into your life. You keep answering people's SMSs late at night when you're supposed to have your calm Zen time, right? Another one is you wanting to grow personally, wanting to become a better person. You want a little bit more discipline in your life, yet every time it becomes hard, you quit because it's too uncomfortable. You see, this doesn't happen all of a sudden. It's not all of a sudden that you find yourself on your sofa, overweight, eating chips, watching TV, and then kind of like hoping, dreaming that one day you'll lose the weight. It's not you sitting in that crushy job that is really crushing your soul and thinking, oh my gosh, why am I here? How did I find myself here? It didn't happen suddenly. It didn't happen by some bad luck moment. It happened because you kept choosing this comfortable hell, like I like to call it. You keep repeating the same thing over and over again, yet you hope that things will change. Nothing changes if nothing changes, my friend. You keep repeating the same thing, and before you know it, you're in a pattern, you're in a cycle. And this is especially for my Caribbean sisters. As a Caribbean woman, I know only too well. As Caribbean women, we take on a lot. We were raised to handle it like a champ. Be resilient, be strong, especially those of us who have been or are still in the tourism industry. Listen, we were brought up to always handle everything. We do everything. We are always serving, we are always smiling, we are all putting on a show for the visitors. We keep hustling. Some of us are doing more than multiple jobs, at the same time, just because we need to care for everyone, like we were taught. We were raised to handle everything, to push through, to make do with what we have, to not complain, to not have the stress, to keep hustling, but also be strong and to keep it all together at all times. That is pretty much what a Caribbean woman is. And that's why we are proud to wear it as a badge of honor as well, because we're resilient, right? But you know what that average, after repeating it so many times, what that does to you? Resilient and strength, then all of a sudden it becomes endurance. You're enduring this type of hustling and all of that. And I said it in a couple of episodes ago, this hustling thing and this fighting and being survival mode constantly, it's not cute anymore. All right, we're not doing this. This is so 2025. We're not taking that into 2026, my friend. We're not doing that anymore. And yeah, like I said, strength all of a sudden becomes endurance, and endurance then becomes staying in situations that you shouldn't have been in the beginning or to begin with. You become then very comfortable in that comfortable hell, like I like to call it. And all of a sudden, your dreams start taking a back seat. All of a sudden, your dreams that you had and the hopes that you have of living a better life and creating a better life, they go in the back seat and they go further back from you. And all of a sudden, they're gathering dust somewhere in a dark closet somewhere. And that is what happens. But it is just that conditioning. And the good news is, though, and I'm always here full of good news because otherwise I wouldn't make this video or this episode on the podcast, right? Conditioning can be changed. That pattern that you get yourself stuck in, it can be interrupted. That cycle that you keep repeating, it can be broken. So Now you're asking, but how? All right, let me share what happened for me or what worked for me. First of all, you need to admit that you are in a pattern or in a cycle, whatever you want to call it. You need to admit it. Just being aware of it isn't enough. You need to admit it and you need to see it for what it is. You cannot say, oh, yeah, okay, I understand that I might be in a pattern, but you are not able to face it. All right. First thing you need to do is admit that you're in a pattern. And when you admit it, I don't want you to come up with defenses and excuses why you're in a pattern. I don't need to hear all of that. You don't need to hear all of that. We are not defending it. And we are also not blaming it on anyone, on your upbringing, on your parents, on the way you were, the teacher scolded you back in school or the kids bullied you back in high school. We're not doing that. You're not blaming anything or anyone. You are just admitting that you are in a pattern. And the next thing we are going to do is we are going to be like Shawshank Redemption. You remember that movie? And this guy was like just secretly behind this poster in his cell. He was chipping away at a wall and bringing in with a spoon and he would put it in his pants. And every day, over a course of I don't know how many years, he finally dug an entire tunnel to escape from the prison. Well, we're going to do that, but we're not going to take only what do you call it? Is it a shovel or that thing that you chip away at a wall with? We're not going to do that with just a spoon, okay? But we are going to do small steps like that. But a big problem is that a lot of people want to go from A to Z in no time. So you start in January saying this is going to be a different year and this is going to be a really good year and all of that stuff. And you come with all of these goals and your dreams, but you want to go from A to Z. I want to go from, I don't know how many pounds you have to losing 200 or whatever in what? A month or two. That's not realistic. It is too far from where you are right now. There's too much separation between you and that goal or you and that dream. You cannot go from, you know what, I'm breaking up with this man that I've been with 20 years. I'm breaking up with him tomorrow. That doesn't work that way. You cannot just, if that is the end goal, then fine. How you're going to get there is by taking that spoon and that chisel. Is that the thing? Chisel, right? That's what you call it. That chisel. Those are what we're going to get. And we're going to start chipping away at the patterns that are keeping us stuck in that A or that zero momentum instead of Z, where we eventually want to be. So we don't just quit everything tomorrow. We interrupt it, but we interrupt it gently. If you want a new job, update at least one line on your resume. Or you change your resume, update it. And then maybe the next step after that is that you will send it off to a new employer or a new potential employer or potential employers, because, more chances to get accepted at another position if you start sending it to more than one people. Tell people in your surroundings that you are looking for another job and that you are actively looking. Don't let it passively pass you by. Actively start changing things around you. All right. If you want, for instance, you want more peace in your life, then perhaps what you do is that at night before you go to bed, you go to bed a little bit earlier than usual. And instead of watching TV until the wee hours of the night or scrolling on the internet on what is called Instagram and TikTok for the longest hours and the wee hours again of night. I've been there. I've been doing that all of last year. And this is something that is one thing that I said I'm not doing anymore because I want more peace in my life this year. So what am I doing? I am putting that phone at night, like around, let's say 8 o'clock. Yeah, I know that's quite early. I put it away somewhere that it is no longer within arm's length, that I cannot reach it from in my bed. Because let me tell you something. Once I put on that AC, and I am all snuggled up under that duvet, there is nothing that can get me out of that bed until the next morning. Okay. So I know myself. So I'm putting that phone far away from me. I am conserving my peace. I am reading a book instead of now scrolling and getting aggravated because I'm seeing things that I don't have, or I'm going into that comparatitis. When you start comparing yourself to other people's lives and all of a sudden you realize your life sucks. I'm not doing that anymore. That is so last year. I'm not doing that this year. All right. And you shouldn't either. So if peace is something that you want to create in this year, start by doing that. Put your phone far away from you and read a book instead of watching TV until late at night. If you want to lose the weight, instead of getting that membership and then going hard at it for the next few weeks and it's not sustainable, like we already discussed, perhaps you should start by walking 10 minutes. And that 10 minutes, you don't only walk every day for 10 minutes, you make it part of your morning routine. For instance, you wake up, you put on your running shoes, you walk up and down your driveway for 10 minutes. I've been doing that. I have a pretty long driveway, so I get to do that. But perhaps you can walk around your block for 10 minutes and then come back home. Then you shower, get ready, go to work, and do whatever it is that you normally do in your day. Another thing that I also implemented, and I've spoken about this openly a lot of times, was to that since I wanted to heal myself from heartbreak all the way in the beginning, I started doing meditation. Meditation is something that really calms me. It has now become part of my morning routine. I do not go anywhere without doing my meditation first. It centers me, it calms me, it gets me ready for the day. Now, another thing that I started doing this year, I know that I am turning 51 just next month. Yeah, because we're in March. Yeah, April is my birthday. I need to be healthier. My body needs to be a little bit more strong. So I know that I cannot do gym every day and pumping iron. I can't do that. But what I can do is I signed up for yoga once a week. Now, once a week, I've made it part of my weekly habit. It is something that I do every week on Tuesday. I make sure that I leave work a little earlier on that day so I don't get in traffic and I don't have an excuse not to go to yoga. All right. Yoga has become so important that it is something now that I look forward to every week. Coincidentally, as I am telling you this story, by the way, it is Tuesday, my normal yoga day, and I just had to call my teacher and say that I can't make it because I was late filming this episode. One, and second, my ankle has some issue and I'm going to the physical therapist, but at the same time, I don't want to do all of these yoga moves and, F it up more. But okay, so I need to be really careful now because once you start coming with one excuse, it is very easy to get into that pattern of bringing up excuses every time you need to do something. So I love yoga. I'm putting that already in my head. I love it. I love it so much. I cannot wait to do it again next week. All right. So those are small little things that you can do. If you want to mentally grow, if you want to become more positive and get out of that negativity, then perhaps you read 5 pages from a self-help book every morning or every night, make it part of your routine. It is easier to maintain that way. It is much more sustainable. All right. That is how we break a pattern. We chip at it gently every so often, and we keep repeating the same new habits, the healthier habits. We keep repeating those so that they then become a healthier pattern. Okay. That is how we do it. So, if you want this year to be different, truly different, then please, I hope that you really took value of all the things that I've shared with you today and that you, if anything, you at least start getting that chisel and that spoon and you start chipping away at that pattern and that cycle to eventually break it. Or in the least, I want you to admit that yes, you are in a pattern. Okay. Now, I have designed something really, really cool, although I say so myself. I am really proud of it because it is something called Dream to Action Starter Kit. And I have put in all of my knowledge that I know of how I have made some of my goals and dreams a reality. And all of those habits and things that I've formed and how I came about it, I put it in this Dream to Action Starter Kit. It is a starter kit, meaning that is 7 days that you can start finally creating a better year for yourself by going after the life that you want, by creating those dreams and making them a reality, and by reaching those goals that you have set for yourself for this year. Okay. And it is this thing that I've done, this starter kit, is a way to make it a little bit easier for you because I share with you every single step along the way. It is 7 days and every day is less than an hour that you need to actually do some work, because we all know if you want change, if you want true change, then you do need to work at it. All right. But I promise you, it is nothing super hard or uncomfortable. All right. And I'm going to be there every step of the way. I've recorded little voice notes for you every day for those 7 days. And you know what the beauty is of this thing? You can keep repeating it as many times as you need to rehear it. All right. So you listen to it again, or you do it over again when you have a new dream, a new goal, or if things start getting a little bit too hard, you need a little bit of motivation again, you check it out again. All right. That is the Dream to Action Starter Kit. I have made it for a price that is so low, $27. That's all it costs. And I don't mean to sell you anything. Listen, this is for you if this is for you. If it's not for you, okay, then I'm sure that you're going to have a way of finding your own way to making your dream life. I'm not saying that you have to get this thing, but I did make it at a price that it is accessible for all. All right. That is pretty much it for this episode and for this video. I am so happy that you have made the time to spend it with me today. I am going to be back at yoga next week, yes, but I'm also going to be back with another interesting conversation. Now, if you want to know more about the Dream to Action, I have left a link in the description beneath this video. If you're listening on the podcast, it will be there in the show notes, so go check it out. And if you want to get in touch with me with more questions, or you want to ask me how about whatever you want to ask me about, or you have a suggestion for a guest that I should have on the show, or perhaps a conversation that we need to have, on this podcast, then definitely reach out at hello at the Traveling Island Girl. I promise you, I answer all of my emails, and I cannot wait to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Risel saying sayonara, goodbye, adios, ciao for now. Bye.